world of pro wrestling is littered with guys who have tremendous athleticism but just need that little extra something to get through the proverbial hoop. At this moment, Jason Jordan seems like one of those guys. Introduced to WWE audiences as a tag team competitor, Jordan is now a singles wrestler on Monday Night Raw, where he is currently on Raw as Kurt Angle's illegitimate son. This was meant to give Jordan's career a boost, but will that prove to be the case? The jury is still out on that. How did Jordan get to this point though? Let's take a look at the origin story of Jason Jordan. It probably goes without saying that Jordan is not the actual illegitimate son of Angle. He was born Nathan Everhart on September 28th of 1998 in Tinley Park, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. It was presumably not the easiest of childhoods, as Jordan has mentioned in the past that his brothers are in prison, one of them being locked away for life. Jordan did not follow a similar path though, and instead got into wrestling. In fact, at the age of 7, Jordan began amateur wrestling under the childlike presumption it was the same thing as pro wrestling. He stuck with it though, and wrestled into high school. As I'm sure you've heard, Jordan was actually a 3-sport athlete in high school. In addition to wrestling, he played football and baseball. His skills on the diamond were so slick that he was even drafted out of high school to play baseball. Although he did turn this offer down and went to college at Indiana University to wrestle. Unsurprisingly, Jordan found a lot of success as a college wrestler. He ranked in the top 15 nationally 3 years running, and actually was ranked as high as second as a heavyweight. This despite the fact he weighed 225 pounds, and was competing in a weight class that allowed you to get up to as much as 285 pounds. During his senior year, he was undefeated, posting a record of 35-0. So impressive was his run at Indiana that his face is currently painted on the wall of the school's gymnasium. Jordan graduated from college with a bachelor's degree in biology and planned on attending dental school. However, he decided to put off studying dentistry to try his hand at being a pro wrestler. As you know, it paid off. While he was still in college, Jordan was approached by Gerald Briscoe to participate in a WWE tryout in 2010. At the time, he was offered a contract with the company, but he put off on signing with them so he could complete his college degree. In July of 2011, Jordan finally signed with then WWE developmental territory Florida Championship Wrestling. It was at this point that the man who had been known as Nathan Everhart first was given the name Jason Jordan. His first match took place on September 30th of 2011 at a live event. Jordan teamed with Abraham Washington against Calvin Reigns and Big E Langston, coming up with a losing effort in the match. He made his TV debut on November 13th, teaming with Colin Cassidy, now known as Big Cass, and Mike Dalton in a loss to the Ascension. Jordan and CJ Parker would end up winning the FCW tag team titles in July of 2012, but soon thereafter, FCW was closed, paving the way for NXT. The move to NXT did not work out too great for Jordan. He made his NXT debut in a loss to Jinder Mahal, and then proceeded to work as somewhat of a glorified jobber through 2012 and 2013. However, in 2014, Jordan and Ty Dillinger formed a tag team, but didn't find much success. The team broke up in February of 2015, turning Jordan heel in the process. Things weren't going great for Jordan, but he was finally about to break out, thanks to a new team that was about to form. In May of 2015, Chad Gable began trying to convince Jordan to team up with him. Like Jordan, Gable had a background in amateur wrestling, and actually even competed at the 2012 Summer Olympics. This back and forth went on for 2 months until Jordan finally agreed to team with Gable. The two debuted as a team on July 15th, winning a match over Elias Sampson and Steve Cutler. The duo was part of a pre-show for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, teaming with Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, aka The Revival, against the Hype Bros and Enzo and Cass. Jordan's team lost, but the fact he was even appearing on a pay-per-view show was a clear step forward. Jordan and Gable would take an even bigger leap during the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic tournament in September. In the first round, the duo was able to best the team of Neville and Solomon Crow, and in the second round they beat the Hype Bros. In the semifinals, Jordan and Gable fell to the team of Baron Corbin and Rhino, but they were also turned face during the match thanks to the fighting spirit they showed in defeat. Later in 2015, Jordan and Gable would beat two different former NXT Tag Team Champions in the Ascension and the Vaudevillains. In January of 2016, Jordan and Gable would finally adopt the moniker they became known under, American Alpha. The two had a classic tag team dynamic. Jordan was the big powerhouse, and Gable was the scrappy, undersized athletic guy. Gable would take the beating from the heels and then hit Jordan with the hot tag to clean house. Their popularity rose, and in NXT TakeOver Dallas, American Alpha would capture the NXT Tag Team titles from the Revival. They would hold onto the belts until NXT TakeOver The End, where they would drop the belts back to the duo of Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Losing the titles was a precursor to American Alpha being drafted by SmackDown during the 2016 WWE Draft. The team would debut August 2nd, taking down the Vaudevillains in a tag match. They would also be included in the SummerSlam pre-show, teaming with the Usos and the Hype Bros to defeat the team of the Vaudevillains, Ascension, and pre-face turn Breezango. American Alpha would then participate in a tournament to name the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. In the first round, they were able to best the team of Breezango, and then in the semifinals they took down the Usos. However, after the match, the Usos attacked Gable, injuring his knee in kayfabe, which kept American Alpha from competing at Backlash. Jordan and Gable were included on SmackDown's Survivor Series team for a 10-on-10 tag team elimination match, which was actually won by Team Raw. Due to an injury to Zack Ryder, the Hype Bros match with the tag team champions, the Wyatt family, was cancelled, and a 4-team elimination match was set up featuring the champs, American Alpha, the Usos, and Rhino and Heath Slater. Jordan and Gable were able to win the match and become the tag team champions. They would hold on to the straps from December 27th of 2016 until March 21st of the next year, when they dropped the belts to the Usos. At this point, Gable began wrestling singles matches, and Jordan was largely unseen. This was, of course, because WWE was setting up Jordan's move to Raw. For a while, Raw teased that Angle had a secret from his past he was worried about getting out. On July 17th, Angle finally announced that he had an illegitimate son, and that it was Jason Jordan. This led to Jordan moving to Raw, where he bested Kurt Hawkins in his first match. He then began feuding with The Miz and The Miz Taraj, teaming up with the Hardy Boys during the SummerSlam pre-show. Jordan's team would eventually lose, and he would also go on to lose a couple more matches, but these matches were to John Cena and Roman Reigns. In September, Jordan won a 6-pack challenge to become the #1 contender for the IC title, but he was unable to beat The Miz at No Mercy. After this, Jordan began feuding with Elias, throwing produce at him while he tried to play his guitar, and also fighting in a guitar and a pole match. Jordan would then be named to Raw's Survivor Series team, but it did not last long, as Jordan was injured in kayfabe by Bray Wyatt on November 13th's Raw, which led to Stephanie McMahon and Triple H deciding to replace Jordan on the team with none other than the Game himself. Triple H then proceeded to give Jordan a pedigree for good measure. The move to Raw may not have given Jordan the boost that was expected, as the illegitimate son storyline has not gotten over with the fans, and people aren't into Jordan's character at the moment. In fact, while Wyatt was injuring Jordan, fans were actively cheering, which was not what WWE intended, I assure. There are many who believe this has all been leading up to a heel turn, with Jordan revealing that he isn't actually Angle's son. Right now though, Jordan's hugely successful college career in wrestling and title-winning run with American Alpha don't seem to be meaning much. Still, he's early in his career, and his physical skill is undeniable. All Jordan really needs is the angle to get him over. And this has been Wrestling Origins Jason Jordan. I hope you are all having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling Hub, and I will see you later with more wrestling videos.